Thanks for your question. This year we've continued to see the devastation caused by increasingly destructive weather events around the world, most recently in Valencia, which the member referred to at the last meeting. The southeast of England is experiencing above average rainfall in 21 of the last 26 months, including recent storms, with 2023-2024 being the wettest on record over the last 136 years. This followed, by the way, a period of drier than normal conditions in 2021 and 2022, which led to drought. I published my response to the review in July, setting out the actions we're taking to progress recommendations relating to the GLA group. As Mayor of London, I don't have the necessary funding or powers to deliver what's needed alone, and I'll continue to work closely with partners across London and nationally to go develop plans and actions to deliver on the recommendations. I've set aside an additional £1 million every year to implement recommendations from the review. The development of delivery plans for my key priorities, including adaptation and resilience, are now well advanced. I've already taken forward some actions recommended by the review, such as conducting exercise Helios, a multi-agency exercise to test London's preparedness for a period of extreme heat. This will help inform the development of a new Pan-London Extreme Heat Plan, developed with partners that will set out roles, responsibilities and actions to better prepare London for overheating. I continue to work with boroughs and community groups to identify spaces where vulnerable Londoners can take refuge from the heat or cold, and to deliver blue-green infrastructure to help cool our city and increase flood resilience. I've also commissioned work to help ensure London's water infrastructure capacity is efficient and sustainable, while supporting the new homes Londoners needs. And I continue to work with partners to ensure the forthcoming London Service Water flooding strategy progresses quickly to delivery. My offices have also secured funding for technical assistance from the EU Pathways to Resilience programme. This will help support delivery of multiple review recommendations, including an adaptation vision and delivery plan in close partnership with stakeholders, including London boroughs. I've invested over £24 million through my Green New Deal funds to improve climate resilience across the capital, plus a further £1.5 million to deliver climate adaptation measures to 95 London schools at the greatest climate risk. I'll be monitoring progress against the review recommendations as I continue to work with partners to boost London's resilience.
Thank you. There's a lot to do. I realise it's odd that it's a cold December day, but I want to talk about extreme heat because, as we know, we need to be prepared. Also, there's a campaign, #HeatStrike, led by trade unions and campaigners talking about heat in workplaces and working conditions, particularly for people from working class backgrounds who are more likely to work in areas that are unsuitable. Now, one of the recommendations that you accepted was around an extreme heat strategy plan, and in fact, you just referred to it in your answer there. What's the timeline for that, and when will we see things implemented?
I've got actually a grid of all future recommendations and the notes, which I'll respond to the member in writing in relation to that particular one. We'll be publishing early next year a delivery plan on the mayoral delivery programme. So he'll get, in the first quarter of next year, us setting out a reporting mechanism so he can hold me to account, and also I can make sure my team's delivering on the recommendations of the review.
That's really good to hear that that'll be transparent and public. Will there be enough money in your budget for climate adaptation?
No. I mean, look, the amount of money we need is not, it can't come out of the City Hall budget alone, but just to reassure him, I've had more constructive conversations with the government over the last 5 months on this issue than in the previous 8 or so years. I'm hopeful the prospect of a multi-year deal will include issues that he's referring to in relation to adaptations, and an issue that he's passionate about, retrofitting, which are linked. And the potential of a multi-year deal that includes those budgets is transformative potentially.
It's good to hear those conversations are progressing. Obviously, there's a huge urgency to this, and I know you accept that. One of our recommendations is around another Stern review or Das Gupta around financing and climate. Is that something you'd support the government doing? Yeah, and one of the things that I think Caroline's been really good at helping us is tracking what we do, and so we've also put in money around green finance. Yep. So we're using public money to try and leverage in private money. We've been doing this for the last few years now, but tracking it rewards success. And so I'll give him one example in relation to what we've done is, since the new Deputy Mayor took over, he's managed to persuade one of our stadiums to have solar panels on their roofs. And then this week he was talking to another Premier League club in London as well. So that's an example of some of the stuff we're doing to make progress, private and public working together, using City Hall resources, sometimes money, staff and others to get the private sector involved as well. We had a great presentation actually from the head of sustainability at LLDC. It's really exciting what they're doing there. Moving on to floods. So the Environment Agency released a report this week, which I'm sure you've seen, that says London is most at risk. Now we know we've got the Thames Barrier to deal with tidal flood, we've got the Tideway Tunnel to deal with sewage and the quality of the water. Are you confident that there'll be enough investment from government to protect Londoners from floods?
So the Secretary of State for Environment, he and I went out on the River Thames recently. I think he may be the first ever member of the Cabinet to take a river ride with me. One of the reasons was to recognise the challenges we have, opportunities as well, in relation to our river. In the past, when we've dealt with the Department for Environment and DEFRA, my concerns being, and the Environment Agency, is their focus when it comes to flooding is coastal flooding.
Right.
Is river flooding, not flash flooding that we have in London. And so the Helios operation I talked about was looking at some of these issues in relation to heat. We also will do one in relation to surface flooding as well.
Will we get the investment we need to protect Londoners?
Yeah, I think this government is determined to make sure that we make the changes to adaptation that we need to do, become more resilient, really important, and adapt to the climate emergency.
Okay, and on that, I wish you and the rest of the Assembly a Merry Christmas. I think I'm the only Jewish member in the chamber, so thanks for all the Hanukkah wishes too. Thank you very much.